Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I can hardly see you in the back. We will not be completely full, so feel free to come forward if you wish to. And we didn't expect the room to be completely packed, to be honest. Thank you very much for everyone who is here, for being here, and for experiencing the interactive format Alpbach Talks together with us. For those of you who do not know the format, you will not see people up here on stage holding lengthy speeches. You will also not hear inspiring podium discussions up here on stage. The stars of the show of Alpbach Talks are you. Every single one of you, without giving too much away, will be paired with someone who might view things pretty differently and is being tasked with finding common ground or agree to disagree in the coming 90 minutes. My name is Sebastian Rehse. I'm Head of Group Corporate Affairs and Stakeholder Management at Erste Group, and I'm very pleased to be your host for the next 90 minutes. To start with, I would like to very briefly walk you through today's agenda. We will have a short intro by Ulrike Zimmermann from our partner organization, Die Zeit Online, and welcome remarks by our Chief Corporate and Markets Officer, Ingo Bleier, after which I will explain the guideline and matching of what is about to come a bit closer. And then it's all up to you, and we hand over to you. And after your hopefully very interesting talks and discussions, I would like us to gather all here again and reflect a bit. Where were differences that could be overcome? Where did you actually agree to disagree, as I just mentioned? And what did you find most interesting about the discussion with your counterpart? So without further ado, I would like to welcome Ulrike Zimmermann from Die Zeit Online on stage.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much that I can be here the second year with this format Alpbach Talks, which is an invention of a newspaper, where you might think, oh, a newspaper, why do they do this? The whole thing was that people in the redaction had the feeling that people don't talk enough about like really precious problems and issues, especially political issues, because we like to skip that in our everyday conversations, likely to be in a very nice context. So there was a group of people who came up with a nice idea, and we started in 2017 Deutschland spricht, which then grew and grew and grew, and now you can really find it as a format for newspapers in many European countries. I can also say last year we had the World Talks for the redaction, and in this year we also follow up right now with the Germany Talks. You might imagine what happens here is like we try to bring people together who are on a different end of meaning to specific questions. These questions are always tailor-made for the specific event. So what you're discussing today is make up for today. It's all discussed with the organizers. And we hope that you can get this feeling of talking to somebody you would not talk or you would not meet because you might be different in your bubble, in your meanings, in your opinions. So I hope that will work for you as well, very well.
Thank you very much, Ulrike. Thank you. Some of you might also think, why do we as a bank bring this topic to Alpbach? Why do we bring that format here? And that is exactly why I'm glad to welcome our holding board member and Chief Corporate and Markets Officer, Ingo Bleier, to explain a bit about the background.
Yeah, thank you, Sebastian. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome also from my side on behalf of Erste Group. It's really hard to see you, actually, you're right, yeah? Particularly in the back, it's pretty dark. Now, I'll give you a short personal story. When I came to the board of Erste Group, around that time we had a media training. Yeah? So we were told, whatever the question is that you get from a journalist, a counterpart, make sure you bring your messages across. Make sure that your statements find a place. But that is not the way I found out over the years how good decisions are being made. Because in that case, you only try to put onto the table what you want to deliver, regardless of what the context is. Yeah? You know those famous questions, from journalists where the answer is, that is a very good question, but the more important question is, and then it leads over to what you really want to say. Yeah? That's not happening today. Today you get a couple of questions, and you should discuss those in a very open, respectful manner, and try to understand the arguments of your counterparty. My experience is also that decisions are better if there's a hard argument before. If there's really a good discussion on pros and cons of individual actions. So we in management don't sit in individual small rooms, think a lot and then come out of the room and say, that's what we do. Decisions are good if we discuss at length about the various aspects of what needs to be decided. Now, why are we sponsoring this? And I think this is one of the really important sessions of this Alpbach Forum, because it embraces the spirit of why Alpbach was founded. It is to embrace a controversial discussion. And this format is simple, it is innovative, and I'm sure it will yield very interesting results. I was not here last year at this session, so I really look forward. I want to take part as well. And I'm very curious to see with whom I will be matched, as I will explain now, and what the outcome will be. So I can only encourage you to really jump into it, enjoy it, and I think we'll have a great morning session. Thank you very much on behalf of our group.
Thank you very much, Ingo. And that was already it with the speeches on stage. Now it is about you. I will explain very briefly how it works. Before we start, does everyone have a participation card with the QR code? Because that is something that you will need to be matched, and you will find it around the room. If you do not have one, you will get one at the entrance, but I think everyone, I can hardly see you, but I think everyone has one, right? Perfect. In order to get matched, you will have to scan the QR code on your card, and you will then be asked to insert your participation code. Do not type in this one, please, but type in the one that is on your card, because everyone has a separate code. And after you have entered that, you will already see a mask where you will be asked those questions that Ingo just mentioned. Very important, there is no right or wrong from our perspective. You will not be tasked with telling us afterwards, okay, why do you think this is the better version? The main idea is that you have to answer questions that might not be very easy to answer with a yes or no, in order to decide what your opinion is, and then get matched with someone who might have had a different opinion. You can already do that now. I see some of you typing already. You can read those questions, answer those questions. I will give you a minute to go through it with yes or no. And after you have then pressed the send button, I think it's right there. Was it too fast? Was it too fast? Yes. Let me go back. Ulrike, come. She's the expert on this.
Now you can hear me. The idea is that you send all your answers, and if you at this point, that's why you might need 2 more minutes, we ask you to just answer all the questions. I have here my computer. I can see not what you answered, but I can see how many of you answered. I hope I get a good number, and then I can match you. And then again, this was the following presentation that Sebastian had. It's just like you can follow up again. You go inside and you can see where you will find your matching partner.
Exactly.
So, but I hope you could read through the questions now. I hope you could answer it. Is anybody who has questions at this moment?
If you have any questions throughout the whole process, Ulrike will be here with us. And also, you will then see in the app, after she has done the matching, where to find the partner that you've been matched with on the grounds of the CCA. We've prepared coffee for you, we've prepared croissants for you, there's some water outside as well, so you will be not left alone, but you have to have coffee and croissants as well, if you like to. But in the app, you will then see where to go.
So by now I have an unequal number. Are you, which is not so nice. Is everybody ready to answer the questions? Is there anybody who did not yet? So it'd be good if we would have one more maybe from the partners. Not yet. I have to. I'm here with my. Exactly there. You will see it exactly there. Let me check if we find an equal number now.
Yes. Yeah, please participate. Perfect. We'll have one more participant to get an equal number.
No, we have even more, but it's even unequal. Okay, good.
Okay.
I check it again.
I'll try to see
that.
Has
Would be
everyone...
very nice, yeah, to have an equal number. If not, somebody would have just said, we don't have a match for you, which would be not so nice. No, it's still unequal.
One more minute. Okay, good. Maybe for the others who have already answered the question, I will also try to explain the process afterwards. You will have, after you've found your matching partner, a discussion with them about those questions and why you answered this way and the other person might have answered the other way. The main idea is, of course, that you're matched with someone who has answered ideally all 5 questions differently. Last year, that was not the case in all cases, of course. But then we will meet again here at around 11:40. So you can discuss until 11:30. If you need a few minutes more, that's fine, but we will start again here at 11:40 to also be able to show you the results of the presentation, to show the results of the questions. Last year, we did have quite surprising results, I would say. Ingo looked at the results last year, and they were very interesting, very diverse way of answering those questions. And then we will wrap it up. Do we now have an even number, and is everyone ready and having answered the questions?
Just give me a second. Just one more second.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. At the moment, it doesn't do what it should do. What could happen? Yeah, it's already matched. Can you? Okay. So it's already.
Maybe use the microphone quicker.
Yeah. So it's already matched. I can see now two people are not matched. Maybe they come together in the front. But if you sign in again, you should find your number, the number of your partner, and where to meet.
Just type the number again.
Just type the number again.
If anyone has questions, Ulrike is right here in the very front. Please come forward. Everyone else who has been matched with someone, you can see in the app where to meet your partner. Please meet them, have a fruitful discussion, and we meet back here at 11:40 the latest, please. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Can we maybe turn the lights a bit down so that I can see the audience? I think it's better to have like a common approach. Thank you so much for coming back. I do hope you've had an inspiring few minutes discussing with your partners. And thank you very much for staying with us despite the technical difficulties in the beginning. I want to share, before I hand over to you, to talk about your experience just now, and maybe found new common ground with your discussion partner. I want to share the results of how diverging the opinions in the room were. Up front, I want to tell you that 6 pairs did have 5 different answers to those 5 questions. So I want to really hear from you whether you found common ground or not. And yes, we do have one here, I guess. That's the outcome. And as you can see, it is, and I talked to Ulrike about it, a very nice picture of how opinions differ. On the question of AI having a positive impact on democracy, 41 to 60 roughly, 40 to 60 roughly, the result. The inheritance tax as an instrument, even more diverging opinions, rather a 50-50 in this room. What I want to point out is one question, the question on the pensions, the last one. Do you think you will receive a pension that will allow you to make a good living? Only 1/3 in this room said yes. And as Ulrike told me, they've used this question or a similar question in other rounds, in very large crowds as well. The result always seems to be around 1/3 only saying yes, and then 2/3 saying no to that. Those are the results. We had 1 pair with only 1 question answer diverging, but 6, as I mentioned, with 5 different answers. And now I really want to hear from you. We just want to hear from you. What was your experience like? Did you learn something new? Did you find common ground? What do you take away from that experience? We do have colleagues with microphones. And really just tell me who wants to start. Yes, there's one gentleman in the middle. And by the way, do we have the pairs back that had 5 different answers? Super.
I think we're one of them. So my name is Richard, and this is...
My name is Muhammad.
I'm not surprised we had 5 different answers, because Mohammed is Palestinian and lives in Jordan at the moment, and I'm a Styrian farm boy, growing up on a farm in Styria. But we managed to, I think, find common ground on all the answers in the end, with a bit more, I think, discussion and debate, and I think particularly on the question of social media platforms limit free speech. Mohammed had a very good view. You want to share?
Thank you for the activity, first of all. We have found background and similarities, even our answers were totally different. For the social media thing, we have different views about different platforms. So X is different from Meta, Meta is different from other platforms like TikTok and these things. And to be honest, for the free speech, I had an experience regarding the previous situations that's happening in the Middle East about the Palestinian and Israeli conflict. And my point of view was, there's a limitation, and sometimes social media platforms take a specific side. It's related to politics, and it's not totally free. So that was my point about free speech on social media. But it's better than the old traditional media, the news and papers. So we are much better than old media.
Yeah, and maybe one other thing, just to pick out one other on the pension. I mean, I said I will not receive a pension in Austria, and Mohammed was very optimistic to receive a pension in Jordan, given the young population there. But I think we settled that my pension will be much lower than would be expected today, and his pension will increase substantially from 350 dinars, which is around
$350. It's like 260 dinars, Jordanian dinars.
So $350. So his pension will go up and mine will go down. Was the compromise.
Thank you much. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. Thank you. Anyone else wants to share what they experienced with their discussion partner?
Thank you. Hi, my name is Yvonne, and I am without partner, but not due to too heavy discussions. My match, Lenka, has a parallel meeting. Actually, we had a very nice talk, and we enjoyed this exercise very much. It came out that we both really decided sometimes between yes and no, and then one clicked on no and the other on yes, and so, yeah. I think my main takeaways are that you can have a really very good discussions even if you have different opinions. So this is one thing. And the other thing is that, yeah, we even got connected now and changed our contact details. So yeah, I can also tell that to you, do that. It was very nice to have one more contact from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yvonne.
Hello. I'm so happy I'm here. My name is Elena, and I really had a very interesting conversation with my colleague here. So a bit about our background. So I'm Romanian, but I live all around the world. And my colleague here, she's from Israel. She's in academia. I come from tech and business. And I love to see, and I would love to see more interactions between academia and tech and business discussing about the future of AI and how it impacts the world, and especially with the governments or the regulators at the table. And what we basically realized it was that having people from diverse backgrounds talking about the same thing, and most importantly, understanding what they're talking about, can really change the world. And even if we had, I think 3 of our questions were quite different, we really got to see that we had the same opinion, but from different perspectives, as we have different backgrounds and we come from different cultures. Yeah, if you have anything, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to second all of that. It was a really, really fascinating conversation, and I feel that I learned a lot, and it really highlighted how important it is to have conversations like this from people of different backgrounds so we can really find mutual ground and fix some of the big global problems. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you. I'm glad that you had a good experience. There's a gentleman in the back.
Hello, everybody. I'm Obi, and this is Erich. We're both Austrians, and we want to highlight that only 3 questions. We did not start at the same point.
Only 3 questions.
Yeah, but we came together pretty soon. Okay, and what was interesting for us that we would both have wished to have a more radical opponent, because it was very easy for us to find common ground. And then we both said it would have been really nice to have more controversial questions that are more radical, and to have maybe more extreme opponents in order to widen their own bubble a little bit more, okay? So we both would have wished for a radical activist for anything.
Okay.
And that would have allowed us to really open up the bubble. And I want to share with everybody, I had such a discussion yesterday with a climate activist. And it was very interesting to understand, because the main problem we have, we talk a lot about people coming together and talking. For me, the starting point was to understand what is the data, and what is the facts that these people start to argument with? Because for me, being outside of the discussion, I'm unable to understand the phraseology, to understand what is the basic numbers. And that's why it was very helpful for me to have this discussion yesterday. I want to thank Cecilia here, even though she's not here now, for that discussion, because she gave me a lot of insight, and that is the starting point for a discussion. So what I want to invite the Zeit for the next time is to give us more radical questions that are more easier to fight about.
Good, thank you. One more over here.
Thank you. I'm Anna. I'm from the Netherlands, and I was working together with
Fabian,
who's from Germany. And what I found very interesting is that we had 2 questions where we had like semi-similar opinions, but because for both of us, the topic was more like a black box. So one of the questions specifically was the pension one, where both of us have a very narrow or like not that good of an understanding maybe of how that will work, because we're both quite young. So I think I'm quite positive when it comes to pension. I still have about 50 years to go till I reach that age. So I was like, you know what, in 50 years, so much can happen.
opportunities will open up, I will receive a pension. And Fabian was like, well, you know, I don't think I will. I'm an entrepreneur, and so it's very different for me. And also, yeah, like it's a bit of a black box. We put money in it, and then hopefully it comes out on the other end. But who knows? And we had a similar thing with AI, where I've been studying AI for a year for my master thesis, looking into a rather dark side of it, AI-enabled warfare. So for me, I don't think there's much of a positive impact on democracy. It could be, but yeah, I'm a bit more skeptical. Whereas Fabian was way more hopeful and really was like, no, but it has so much potential that it can, in 50 years, do so much good for our world. Even though both of us are not really from the tech world, we both have like a black box view of AI. We came out at different ends, and I think that is really interesting to see. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. I do have quite a few takeaways from your takeaways. It might be possible that it is maybe easier to find common ground if we just open up to discussion and if we're able and willing to discuss with each other. I do take away the more radical question idea though. And thank you so much for sharing as well. Before I let you go now, I really want to hand over to Ingo, who you saw before, who has taken part in the discussion, and I'm really curious to learn what your biggest learning was. Could we have a microphone for Ingo?
This was not planned, but I'm happy to share.
Exactly.
So we were together, Florian and myself. It started funnily because both of us did not find our matching partners. So whoever is 2606 and does not have a match, it would have been me. Yeah, so just so you know. But we found each other. I found it highly interesting. I missed it last year. The takeaway on the radical question is a very good one. I was jokingly now, I just said, we could ask whether you like Bayern München, for example. You know, soccer questions are typically more radical, and we get very emotional responses then. But indeed, we had, I think, a discussion which led to learnings where I moved more than Florian, in my view. Yeah. He's a German who now works in Switzerland with very good perspectives. So I will definitely come back next year to repeat this. And I look forward to the questions. So well done.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. I want to thank you all very much again for participating. Please also feel free afterwards to give us feedback on whatever you think could be done differently. I apologize for giving not enough time to answer the questions in the beginning. I received that feedback as well already. I do hope that you found different perspectives interesting. And I want to really finish with one quote where it says that a good discussion increases the dimensions of everyone who takes part. And I very much feel like this was achieved today. I hope that you have had an interesting discussion, maybe a new interesting contact that you can also exchange contact details with and stay in touch that you might have not found in Alpbach otherwise. Thank you for participating. Have a great rest of your Alpbach experience and hopefully see you next year. Thank you very much.